question whether a system has accuracy to make the call where a player's shoulder is just a few centimeters outside. It's absolutely joyless stuff to watch. This is an offside call, and so they used apparently some sort of computer vision. This is probably done by like Sport View or Hawkeye, Trackman. All these different companies might have like capabilities of this, and then their cameras are able to infer whether or not like you were truly offside or not, right? The benefit being like if you were offside and a referee didn't catch it, then it becomes an infamous non-call if it's, say, a game-winning situation. And then on the other side, if a call is made and it gets challenged, then a referee doesn't want to impede on a game by making a bad call. The referee just wants to make a good call, make the correct call, play by the rules of the sport. Getting the right call is more important than one team winning or another, unless you have other nefarious reasons to participate as a referee in a sport. But either way, objectively, you're getting sort of that like neutral third-party voice. Like not another person or another referee that's watched the game, not the sound of the crowd. This is not affected by the sound of the crowd. This is just data. This is data that says, hey, this is how far off someone is, right? And then it's up to either the ref or the league that you play in to say whether or not this is something you want to incorporate in some sort of challenge situation system. Like, okay, here's what the data says, but this is what the call in the field is. And so how do you mend the two? Like the NFL has some sort of system like this where they have to say, like, here's the replay, it's challenged, it goes to the league office. The league office is a third party to the game, so to speak, and it's just trying to get a league call on it, the official rule that it would be abiding by, and then the refs on the field can accept that and then call that out, right? Like, that's sort of like a chain of a challenge. It's not like every single call gets mapped. Whereas in a game like soccer or a game like tennis, it doesn't matter whether or not you want a challenge, right? Like a ref can call for it when they feel like they want to, and then they go by whether or not that challenge was it says one way or the other. So challenges are a lot more rigid in the sport of soccer than other sports, right? Because ultimately it takes it out of the hands of any human and puts it in the line of sight of something that you know, how much can we trust this thing? You know, like it plays so closely to the rule, it loses the spirit of the game, right? That's not offside. You just got to be quicker than that. Look, he's not. Look at him. He's not even ready. Look at him. Yeah, like the spirit of the rule is like, did you start ahead of the last guy on defense? Right? As in, like, you don't have it, like, you can't just put an offensive player in front of the goalie and lob balls towards the goal, right? Like, that's not, the rule is prevented there. So the offense has to sort of, they get dictated by the defense. So if you could catch someone offside on a pass, like, good, because what's the difference between them being one step ahead versus like an entire football field ahead? But in this case, like, this seems to be in the spirit of the game, even though the rule is rigid. Like, you're right in the call here that just because he is over the virtual line to be offside, but the defender wasn't ready, this guy just got a good jump, right? He gets a good jump, and I don't think anyone in the world is like, oh, this guy's offside. He got a good jump. He's a body ahead. But the rule says if you're ahead, It doesn't matter if you're hit by apparently your entire left shoulder or if you're all the way up in the goalie's face, right? That the rule is written and stated and abided by the way that it's written. So, as we know, this was one of the greatest upsets, largest upsets in the history of the World Cup here. We're being robbed of the simple joy of arguing about an offsides call. I mean, like, some of the, we cherish a handball, hand of God, okay? We cherish a goal that shouldn't exist, and it exists in not just lore, but in legacy, you know? Like, soccer cherishes a lot worse than whether or not someone's shoulder was caught offside, you know? The reason people play by the rules is because, like, if you don't, then, like, some strategies are just winning and overpowered, and the sport isn't fun, right? To enforce more, like, possession, to enforce more skills player to player, as opposed to, like, a game of kickball and endurance sprinting. Like, an offside rule makes sense. Like, it should be beneficial to, like, the action of the game and also, like, the sportsmanship of the game, the nature of what the game's supposed to be. And the game is, like, sick ball dribbling and ball control, accurate passing to your teammates, and accurate and precise goal scoring abilities, paired against the ability to stop amazing offensive generation with impeccable defensive excellency. So the idea of, like, let's play kickball and whoever sprints down the field first wins is not really a test of a game that requires cooperation, but rather it's like several different individual feats, like field-long sprinting speed, and then ultimately, like, are you a tall person? The tallest, fastest person on the field would tend to be the winner in that situation, and you would relatively need far fewer skills than you need in the game of soccer as we know it today. So I like the idea that the skill of soccer is something that is unique, and the game of soccer is something that is unique as beyond just a handful of, like, rudimentary skills, but a synergy or an interaction of many interesting skills that a human possesses. Does this VR stuff take away from the idea of human competition? Yeah, a little. Because a part of the human competition is also, like, the boundaries as to what you can get away with. And in a regular human context, you should be able to get away with this 99% of the time. Now with VAR, you're not going to be able to get away with this at all. And I feel like we lose a little of, like, the chess match, how much you can push the envelope without going, you know, with everyone knowing that, like, you played by the rules, and at the end of the day, that was just another skill you had over the other player. Like this, the skill of being able to read a pass off the foot and time the jump correctly to be perhaps a step ahead or two, but usually probably one stride ahead of your closest defender. That being taken away because, like, your hand was over the line. Well, your entire fucking body is not. Seems a little rigid rule. And rigid use of the technology.
What's a pirate's favorite programming language? Arr, 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 arr.
Arr, 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 arr.